Hey YouTube family, we are back. In this video, we're going to discuss the dark side of Thailand condos and renting Thailand condos. And this information, and I don't know why that other Thailand YouTubers don't want to share with you. They don't want to give you this pertinent information. But anyway, before we get started, I am going to cover 8 things for you. We are going to move fast. So for me to move fast, what I'm going to do here, a few pointers, is for one, if you check out my description, and I will pin it as a pinned comment as well, I will share with you 3 or 4 other videos I've done that go along with this information, but I do it very, very more detailed and lengthy. So that will be in the description as well. If you'd like to reach out to me, you have questions on this, you get all the information's in the description, and or you can leave a comment. Other than that, let's rock and roll and dive into the dark side of renting Thailand condos. Now, number one, we got to talk about deposit scams and security deposit thefts. So what I mean by that is, one, many landlords or agents refuse to return deposits or make up bogus reasons for keeping them from you or returning them. And this is really true. And in my experience, it's not so much coming from the landlord themselves. It's more coming from a condo agent. Because in Thailand, especially in, like you live in Phuket or Pattaya, Hua Hin or Bangkok, you live in the prime tourist areas. Most of the time, it's a condo agent. Now, there's 2 types of condo agents really fast here. Now, the first agent is completely independent. They don't work with an agency. They don't work with a company. They 100% work for themselves. I mean, that's going to be way more risky just because they're completely independent. So if they rip you off, you get involved with a scam, or they're scamming the owner, but then you're in the middle of it. So another point with an agent, the second thing with an agent really fast is, and you can have a condo agent, but the condo agent actually works for a company. Now this will be a little bit more safer for you, just because if there's any issues, you can actually go to that company and go to their boss or management of that company to work things out. So that's what I mean. It's better to go with a condo agent that works with a company. So this is how it works, to kind of give you kind of a broad sense of it. Is, I live in La Casita. So when you live in a condo, you have the management of the condo. Okay, that manages. That's where you pay your management fees and your HOA fees and your monthly fees if you're an owner. But the management of the condo will hire an agency, an outside agency, like a staffing agency, to bring in and staff the whole condo unit. Meaning that they'll hire an agency, the agency will bring in their own staff. The staff will be the juristic office staff, the staff can be the security staff, and the staff can be the whole cleaning crew. And the staff will be condo agents. So usually what will happen is, if you go to the juristic office and say, hey, I want to rent here, I want to live here, lots of times that juristic office will refer you to their own condo agents that work with a company. So that's going to be a little bit more safer, just because you are dealing with a company at that point, rather than just a solely independent condo agent. But the big thing here is, there are a lot of scams when it comes to your contracts, when it comes to security deposits. They will make up anything to get that security deposit back. And usually when an agent don't return your security deposit, they're usually not giving it to the owner. So they're basically scamming the owner, and they're scamming you because they're just pocketing the cash. Now, common excuses really fast include, we need to repaint. You have deep cleaning fees, or just like things that, let's say you lived in a condo for 1 year. So things that would be included in normal wear and tear, they're classified as damage. And since you're a foreigner, they will exaggerate the fees because they think you don't know. If they sit there and say, oh, we need to repaint the whole place, maybe your deposit was 15,000 baht, they're basically saying, well, we need to keep everything because we need to repaint. Most of the time, they don't repaint. Most of the time, they don't fix things. Most of the time, they just leave it broke. So they're just pocketing the cash. On top of that, nothing costs 15,000 baht. So what they do is they hire another Thai, pay the Thai 500 baht to come in and fix it. Also with this, one more thing is, some landlords disappear or change phone numbers when it's time to refund deposits. Now, again, this is when you're dealing one-on-one. This is why I say when you go through a condo agent, go with a company. They work with a company because of any issues you have, you can go directly to that company rather than just working solely with one person. So that's how you kind of change that. Now, if you're dealing with a landlord themselves, when you're in a contract, you're going to have all their information. You're going to have their address, where they live. And I'll post a video down below that really goes into tenant rights about that. Then the tip here is when you check out, okay, take photos and videos of the condo when moving in and out and get the agreement in writing. Okay. 2 is hidden fees and overpriced utilities. This is pretty common in Thailand, and it's pretty common in condos. It's common in luxury condos, and it is common in Thai apartments. They do this even to Thai locals. So let's move on. What do I mean by this? Some landlords, like not even landlords, the whole condo complex, mark up electric and water prices. Usually they're charging anywhere from 2 to 3 times the actual government rate. Now this is really a learning curve when you're from a different country. When you first move to Thailand, like I'm from the United States, if this was occurring in the United States at a condo, that condo complex would go through a class action lawsuit. I mean, 100%. But here in Thailand, it happens a lot. Even though it's illegal, it violates Thai laws, but condo complexes still do this. And this is an example. Even at La Casita, La Casita, I live in Hua Hin. Now, the actual government rate, what that means is you're paying your electric bill straight to the electric company. You're paying your water bill straight to the water company. Okay, that's what it means by government rate. But usually what some condos try to do is when you pay your electric and water, you actually pay the condo the electric and water, then the condo turns around and actually pays the bill. So when the condo acts as a middleman, usually what happens, a condo will charge 2 or 3 times what your electric bill really is, or 2 or 3 times what your water bill really is. Okay, another reason with hidden fees and overpriced utilities, many condos, I'll say this again, many condos force tenants to use private internet and water services, which are way more expensive. I haven't really ran into that. Now with the internet, usually when I do negotiate a contract or negotiate a condo, I always make sure the internet is included in their rent. So the owner pays for the internet. Then with the internet, just to make sure, especially if you work online, like if you work online with me, you want to make sure it's fast enough. It has fast upload speeds, download speeds, and everything you need the internet for, because lots of times they can just get the very small package for you, and you might run into some errors here and there. The third thing here is some buildings charge extra cleaning fees or unexpected service charges after you signed the lease. So you want to make sure anytime you sign a lease, you want to make sure you read that lease. You don't just glance over it and, okay, it sounds great to me. You want to make sure you read the lease. Everything's in the lease that should be in there. And if anything seems kind of not right with you, walk away. Don't sign that lease. Because if it's not right for you right in the beginning, 100%, trust me with this, when I tell you, talking from experience, 100%, more issues are going to come down the road, because that just means they're violating Thai law. It means they don't care. So you're really asking for trouble when you notice things right in the beginning. You notice things are off right in the beginning, but you still proceed forward. Now, the tip here in part 2 is when you're talking about hidden fees and overpriced utilities, always ask for a breakdown of water, electricity, and service fees before signing anything, before signing a lease. This is what I do. Anytime I'm looking for a condo, my Thai girlfriend does this for me. Okay, where do I pay the water? Where do I pay the electric? Are there any service fees? Because I want to hear, oh, you pay the water directly to the water company. You pay the electric directly to the electric company. That's what I want to hear, because I know I'm going to get government rates. I know there's not going to be a middleman in there that I'm paying extra for. shady landlords and middlemen. Now, shady landlords and middlemen, what does middlemen mean? Is it usually mean agents and condo agents or a company or an agency that the landlord is using. So here in Thailand, it's pretty popular that there's always a middleman. And that middleman, that agent, a lot of times, sometimes, like I said in the beginning, sometimes it's not the landlord. A lot of times the landlord is just as innocent as you are. And you have this condo agent over here. They're scamming you. They're trying to rip you off. But at the same time, they're scamming the landlord. So let's get into this. Some landlords are actually just agents or subletters, meaning you're not dealing with the actual owner. Okay, you want to deal with the actual owner of the condo. If that would be the best, okay? And I know in all this writing, they're always using landlords, but again, in Thailand, most of the time, you're going to be dealing with an agent. You're going to be dealing with a condo agent because it's so popular. And lots of times what it's saying here, lots of times these agents or condo agents will pretend like they're the owner, but they're really not. They're either just a condo agent or they're a subletter of the condo, but they're not the actual owner. So when you sign a contract, okay, you want the owner's name, you want a copy of their Thai ID that matches everything. Then on that Thai ID, it's going to have the residential address and phone number. Okay, you want to make sure you're actually renting through the actual owner and you're not getting messed up with an agent pretending to be an owner, something like that. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it does happen. Trust me. If the real owner decides to sell or raise the rent, you could be kicked out early. Now, this is true and false. Okay, this is where ding 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 the tenant laws are coming in. And in this section, again in the description, I did a tenant law video, so I'll pin that as well for you to check out. It goes into deeper detail. But again, if an owner decides to sell or raise the rent and you don't want to do it, you say no, can they kick you out? Now, the quick answer is no, they cannot. They have to follow tenant laws. They have to follow the eviction process here in Thailand. The eviction process in Thailand is very, very, very similar to the eviction process in the United States. So that being said, they can't just come and kick you out. They can't just come and call the Thai police on you. Okay, they might, okay, they use it as a scare tactic, but even the Thai police cannot do anything to you. So you have to understand this. You have to stay firm with this. So if you want more information, you can comment below and I can give it to you. But anyway, the only way an owner can really ask you to leave or break the lease is if they actually sell the condo. Now, if they sell the condo, they have to show proof of selling the condo. They can't just decide they raise the rent on you and they're breaking terms of the lease. Okay, they can't do that. No, when you sign a 6-month lease or a year lease or whatever lease you signed, you've agreed to a certain amount that you pay every month, your rent. So they can't just raise it on you and kind of bully you into stuff. And trust me, this is why we're going over this information. Trust me, 100%. Thai locals, even Thai agents and landlords, more agents will do this. They will try to bully you because they think you don't know. They think you don't know the tenant laws in Thailand. You don't know the laws in Thailand. So they will try to scare you or bully you into paying more money or trying to kick you out if you don't obey certain things. So they have to follow the eviction process, and you could either contact the OCPD, file a complaint through there. That's 100% free. Or you can hire a Thai attorney, but in my opinion is go through the OCPD. Usually if you mention the OCPD to a Thai, that scares the shit out of them. So they don't want to mess with the OCPD because they could go to jail. Or they could be fined up to 100,000 baht. So most places don't want to mess with the OCPD here in Thailand. Okay, the last thing here in this section is some landlords ignore repair requests or disappear once they have your money. I haven't really dealt with this as far as a landlord, but with agents, agents really have a bad rap here in Thailand. So the biggest thing I've noticed when they ignore repair requests is they take forever. If something breaks you in condo, some will take forever to repair. Now, I've always heard great things with landlords if you deal directly with the owner. Usually the owner will take care of you. It's the agents. On my side, it's always been the condo agents that are shady, or the condo agents that will be very, very difficult. So so in my experience, like for example, a couple times I've had the air conditioner go out in my place here, and besides it taking 1 day to fix, it's taken them 2 weeks to fix it. Okay, so they take forever to fix things. And that's a thing that you have to understand with Thailand condos or these luxury complexes, because these luxury complexes, your room, okay, your 1 bedroom or your studio or your 2 bedroom condo, whatever you live in my opinion, is not luxury. Okay, it's a shoebox with no kitchen, no stove, no dishwasher, no washer and dryer, no hot water. I mean, that is not luxury living. Okay, let's just put it out there. But what they use as luxury living in Thailand with these condos is all the amenities. You have a great pool, you have a fitness center, you might have a steam room or a sauna. There might even be a restaurant on the premise. You might have a towel bin. You might have a towel bin coffee machine downstairs. You might have a 7-Eleven, a food machine you can buy stuff with. But when things break, this is what I tell people: when things break, they take forever to repair it. For example, when I live in La Casita, the slide, the twirly slide in the swimming pool has been broken for 9 months. That's almost my whole lease. There's a bridge that goes across the pool, their walkway bridge. That's been broke for like 9 months. Okay. They just now started to fix it, but it's still broke. You can't use it. The Talbin coffee machine downstairs, it's been broke for 1 month. In the fitness center, one of the bikes, they only have 2 bikes in there. One of them is broke. It's been broken for 4 months. So this is what I'm saying. If you go in, you look at a condo and things are already broke, then you have an agent telling you, "Oh, we're going to fix it really fast." No, they're not. I mean, most of these things are broken your whole lease, and they don't care. So you have to understand that. That's why I said don't get too caught up with these amenities, because once they break, they stay broke. Then you can't use the amenities, or you can't use the amenities the reason why you picked that condo. And now you live in a shoebox apartment. So so you just have to understand that they take forever to fix stuff. Okay, now the tip here, try to deal directly with the owner. So I told you that from the beginning. I mean, you're going to get way better service if you can rent through the owner themselves. Number 4 here, Airbnb and party chaos. Now, what most people don't understand when you're coming from a different country is Airbnb is illegal in Thailand. So, which I don't know why the app even works in Thailand. I mean, 100% in Hua Hin, Airbnb is illegal. Any condo cannot use Airbnb, even though they still do. Some buildings have a constant flow of tourists renting short term. So this is putting it nicely. Basically what it's saying, that the condos are treated like a hotel. Okay, when a condo is treated like a hotel, they're violating the Hotel Act. So the condo themselves can be hugely fined, and the condo owners can be hugely fined. And what it means by short term is if you stay less than a month in a condo, that's considered short term, and you're already violating Thai law. You're violating the Hotel Act. When you rent a condo, you have to stay 30 days or more. So because this leads to noise, it leads to security issues. Security issues meaning that the security has no clue who lives there, because people are constantly in and out. And in a lot of condos, you don't have a key card. You're not showing proof if you've lived there or not. So security is just letting in all types of people. And that comes to theft, that comes to break-ins, that comes with people stealing stuff. And yes, this occurs in Thailand. Then, of course, it comes to damage. When a condo is treated like a hotel, if someone's here for 3 days, they break something. Well, they're already here. They've already checked out before the condo complex, the management realizes something broke. So those are some major issues. Another issue is really the amenities. Okay, you stay here for the amenities in a condo, But when it's treated like a hotel, the amenities are just over occupied. I mean, you can't even use the amenities. So if you can't use the amenities, why the hell am I staying here? Okay, if a condo bans short-term rentals, but your landlord still lists it on Airbnb, you could be evicted mid-lease. This does happen. Okay, this is why I said in the beginning, Airbnb is illegal in Thailand. Airbnb is totally illegal in Hua Hin. So what happens is, if lots of times I'll meet people at the pool, they're only here for 1 week. They're telling me, oh, I checked in with Airbnb. Like if I really wanted to be a dick, I could say, oh, what building are you in? And just do chit chat and then just call the Thai police and say, hey, La Casita is doing short term. They got Airbnb here. So now the Thai police shows up, they're demanding contracts from people. Then all of a sudden you get evicted because you're not supposed to use Airbnb. It does happen. People don't talk about it, but it does happen. You can be evicted if you book on Airbnb. Now, the tip here, the tip is actually common sense. The tip here is choose a condo with a strict rental policy, okay, to avoid constant disruptions. For one, I mean, this is going to be hard. This is really hard to do. And this is why you have to do your homework. And I will attach a video. I did a video on, how to rent a condo. We go over 30 things. Check that video out. That goes very descriptive. That way this video isn't too long. But check that video out. Number 5, sudden evictions and lease loopholes. This is going to be a fun one. Okay, this is going to be a true and false one. Okay, this is kind of right down my alley when it comes to tenant laws here in Thailand. Now, one here is Thai lease agreements often favor the landlord. Now, this is true. Okay, now any disagreement, okay, when you're dealing with Thai law, any disagreement, they will in the beginning favor the Thai local if you're a falong. Okay, this is kind of true, but this doesn't mean that you're going to 100% lose. So this just means you got to dot your I's and cross your T's. You got to behave it a little bit. Okay. What you want to do, you want to obey Thai laws. Okay. It's fine if they don't obey them, if they violate it, but you want them to violate, but you don't. You don't want them to, you don't want them to point fingers at you. Okay, now let's read this all together. Thai lease agreements often favor the landlord, meaning you can be kicked out with little warning. This is completely false. I know this goes across the board. You always hear in Thailand, you can't do nothing. Okay, you have to pay 2 or 3 months security deposit, which is against tenant laws. They can kick you out with no warning. They don't have to have anything. I mean, for one, I'm going to be in your face a little bit. Do you know anything about tenant laws in your own country? Because tenant laws in Thailand are almost very similar. Back in 2018, they're adding to the tenant laws for Falong that protect the Falong, protect the foreigner, because they knew the Falong and foreigners were getting basically screwed, okay, in Thailand. So they can't kick you out with no warning, okay, 100%. They have to follow the eviction process. Sorry about that. I've been talking so fast. My throat's getting dry. I have to drink some sponsor here. This is like an energy drink in Thailand. But they cannot kick you out with any warning. Bottom line, they have to follow the eviction process. And if they follow the eviction process, they are not going to win. And or you can take them directly for free. You can file a complaint with the OCPD. Once you say that, they'll probably leave you alone. They probably won't mess with you. Trust me. Okay, another thing with this, some contracts have a termination without reason clause, allowing them to evict you anytime. This is completely false. Okay. Yes, a contract can say anything it wants. A contract can have a termination without reason clause in it. But one thing in Thailand, you would have to take them to Thai court or contact the OCPD. One thing that's really positive in Thailand is that no matter what that lease says, if the lease violate my tenant rights, that lease doesn't supersede my tenant rights. That's a cool tenant law that you need to know. So even though they're trying to evict me without any reason, they're trying to evict me without anything I've done, without going through the eviction process, they cannot do it because I'm going to fight against it and I'm going to report them to the OCPD. Okay, the last thing here is if the landlord sells the unit, the new owner may not honor your lease. Now, this one is 100% true. Now, this is the only reason how a landlord could get out of the lease if they sell the unit. If they sell the unit and they really sell the unit, you're going to want proof that they sold the unit, that they're not just making it up to get you out. They have to show proof that they've sold the unit, there's a new owner, and so forth and so forth. But this is the only way they can get out of the lease. Lots of times, even if the owner sells a unit and you're dealing with a condo agent and a condo company, most of the time, since you paid money, this is why I tell you, don't pay money in advance. Okay, don't pay your whole year lease up front. Don't pay your whole 6-month lease up front. The only reason I say this because people do this. And one of the things I've learned in Thailand with renting condos is that the landlord is always trying to sell their condo. They're always trying to get out of it. Okay, they're always trying to get out of their condo because owning a condo in Thailand is mainly a pain in the ass because lots of times they have really high management fees every month and they're not making any money how they think they would make money. So the landlords just, every single landlord here in La Casita is trying to get out of their flipping condo, trying to sell it. Now, the tip is look for strong lease terms that require proper notice periods for eviction. Now, like I said before, of course they might fight you on it, but even if that lease agreement says something different, but if that lease agreement violates my tenant rights, that lease agreement doesn't supersede. My tenant rights in Thai court supersede. So that's a cool thing for you to know. But still, when you look at a lease agreement, you want to make sure the proper things are in there. You want to make sure there's strong lease terms in there. You want to make sure there's no shady little language going on. If there is, walk away, get out of it. Don't even sign the lease agreement, look for a new place. Number 6 here, security and maintenance problems. Okay, many condos look great in the listing, but are poorly maintained. And if you live in Thailand, once you stay in Thailand longer and longer, you will see this, and you will see, like, as you walk around and look at condos and view condos and look at different areas, and all these I'm talking about and referencing are luxury condos. When you go in person and you look at them, you will see that they are poorly maintained. They don't keep up with them. The condos are built really, really cheap. That's a whole nother thing in Thailand. Most luxury condos are built really, really cheap. Issues like broken elevators, dirty pools, and weak security are common in cheaper buildings. And let me tell you, this is true and false. They're not, okay, yes, they're common in cheaper buildings, but they're also common in expensive luxury buildings. Let me tell you, there's many times, even at La Casita, we have broken elevators. Broken. I already told you everything broke here. They take forever to fix. Okay. One thing they do good here is they do keep it very, very clean. The pools are clean and stuff like this. But see with your eyeballs, if you're going in and looking at a place and the pool's flipping dirty, has leaves all over. Okay. The chairs by the pool, the mattresses by the pool look like they're 10 years old, all ripped up. Looks like a dog ripped through them. Why do you want to stay there? Another thing is weak security. Again, weak security, even at La Casita, security is horrible at La Casita because what security does, if juristic office and security, if they don't have a strong manager watching them, security will sneak in people. They will sneak in their friends. They'll have money schemes. Money schemes for security is usually like someone who don't live here, they're paying money and they'll let them park on the property. Okay, they'll let them park on the property so they can go eat, go to the beach or whatever. So you don't want weak security. People come in, like I've told you at La Casita, people's broke in to condos. I know this for a fact. I know the people it's happened to. People break into the unit, they steal the mail, they steal stuff, break stuff, and all that types of jazz. Now the tip here is, and I say this in one of my videos, the best thing you can do with condos is visit the condo at night and visit the condo during the day and talk to residents of that condo so you can get a really good idea what's going on with that condo. Number 7, unfair contracts and language barriers. Now, when you're dealing with unfair contracts and language barriers, what that means is, I think I already brought this up and we'll go through this very, very quickly, is some landlords only provide contracts in Thai. Now, this is Thai law. Okay, Thai law is if you have to go through court, Thai courts only go through Thai contracts. You're not going to take your English contract to Thai court. because the landlord or the agent or the agency is going to show up with a Thai contract. So when you sign your contract in the beginning, you want an English version and a Thai version, and it's your job, it's your due diligence to either have a Thai attorney and or have a Thai girlfriend, a Thai friend, someone really close to you to tell you what that Thai contract says. That way you're matching it, make sure it says the same exact thing. So many leases don't include an official English translation, which can be risky. Okay, now it's risky either way, because even if they give you an English version, they have to give you a Thai version. You want to make sure that Thai version says what it says in English. Because again, in Thai court, they only go from the Thai version. Some contracts have automatic rent increases and hidden renewal terms. Okay, again, like I've been saying, beating it into you, read that flipping contract. Okay, you want to read that contract. Anything sounds shady, why in the world do you want to stay there? So the tip is, I've already said this, the tip, have a lawyer. Now, you're not really going to hire a lawyer to read the Thai contract. I mean, I tried this, and the lawyer wanted me to pay 10,000 baht just for them to read the contract to me. So at this point, you don't really need a lawyer to rent a condo. You just need to use some common sense here. So, have a trusted Thai friend, a trusted Thai girlfriend, or a friend in Thai review that contract before signing. Tell you they will translate it to you and tell you what it means. You don't really need an attorney at this point. It'll just be a waste of money for you. Number 8, the last one, is no renter's rights protection. And this is what you hear all the time. I hear this from my friends that lived in Thailand way longer than me. And, you always hear, you have no rights here. You have no renter rights here. You're for long. This is 100% completely bullshit. Okay. They've changed the laws back in 2018, and you have tenant rights here in Thailand. There's tenant rights actually for long and foreigners. Okay. So they changed everything back in 2018. Even if landlords or agents don't want to go by those Thai laws, or they pretend they don't know them, or maybe they don't know them, because a lot of these agents are 18, 19, 20 years old running around. And so, I mean, you're going to know way more than they do. So let's go into this really fast. Is Thailand's rental laws favor landlords. So legal action is slow and expensive if you have a dispute. Okay. Now it is true, like they do favor landlords, but again, if you're right and you can prove they're violating your rights, they're going to favor you. Okay. And one way to do this, when it says legal action is slow and expensive, I would not hire an attorney. Okay. An attorney is going to overcharge you. They're going to charge you for long price. And the landlord and the agent knows this. Okay. They're a little bit smart with this, is that the attorney's going to overcharge him, charge him a lot of money. So he's just going to walk away. So what you need to do is file a complaint with the OCPD. What you need to do is negotiate. Okay. And I don't want to tell you how to do this, but I'm not an attorney, but negotiation goes a long way. Okay. You want to negotiate over email. Okay. And you tell them straight, like, what's going on, what your concerns are, how you want to work them out. If you can't come to an agreement, you're going to file a complaint with the OCPD. Once you say OCPD, the bells are going to come off in their head, because now all of a sudden they know, Thai laws. Now all of a sudden, where you can go complain. The OCPD is free. So you're not hiring an attorney, and the OCPD will investigate the entire complex in the condo. Okay. Also, it says, but I laugh at this, but I put it in here because most people think this is true, but yet it's false. There's no strong tenant protection system like in Western countries. That is entire bullshit. Okay, you have tenant laws in Thailand. They favor for long and foreigners as well. They've changed it back in 2018. Do research yourself, or I'll link a video in the description. Number 3 here is, if you get scammed, getting your money back is difficult, if not impossible. Unfortunately, this one is true. So you have to understand, I've lived in Thailand almost 4 years. And one of the things that, Thai locals love to do, because it is more of a poverty country, and I'm not putting it down, but that's just the truth. And one of the things that locals really love to do is, I'm poor, I have no money. So, you have to understand that. So this is why I tell everybody, like, be smart when you're dealing with contracts. Look at the contracts. If anything seems off, don't sign that contract and go someplace else. Okay, when you're dealing with traffic and driving, again, you have to pay attention. You got to take personal responsibility for yourself. Okay, you don't just walk around and you think someone's going to take care of you here. You're in a different country and you are in kind of a loophole of their rules. So you got to know their rules and play the game. Okay, if you know the rules, have common sense, and play the game well, you'll be okay. So the tip here is negotiate everything up front and be ready to walk away if the deal feels off. That's 100% true. Okay, this is like I've been telling you. Negotiate everything up front and walk away if anything seems off. I'm reading things off. If things is in that contract I don't like, walk away, because there's not millions of condos here in Thailand, but there's hundreds of condos here in Thailand. You have so many choices here. Okay, lastly, the final warning, rent smart, be smart. Okay, never pay up front before seeing the condo. I mean, that sometimes that's kind of hard. Sometimes you pay a holding fee, especially if you're coming from a different country, then you show up and then that's when you do the final check-in and pay the rest of the money. But sometimes condos, and La Casita does this as well. They get sneaky, is you pay the holding fee, then when you show up, then the contract smells off. Or they come out with subleases, like, you're not allowed to use these amenities. You're not allowed to use the grill. You're not allowed to eat in the common areas. You're not allowed to eat downstairs. You're not allowed to eat in the grill area. You're not allowed to eat or drink by the pool. They have all these rules that they come out with you at the last minute. And when they have all these rules, for one, that's 100% violation of your tenant rights. Okay, when you stay in a condo, to keep it simple, is you have the same rights as the condo owner. So if the condo owner lives in a condo, okay, you have the same rights as me. Okay, bottom line. Okay, you can do whatever I can do. You can do whatever a condo owner can do. That's bottom line. Okay, always use a lease agreement. Never do a handshake deal. I don't know how many people I run into in Thailand that do handshake deals. And every time they do a handshake deal, maybe not every time, but a lot of them, they're caught up in some type of agent scam. Because the owner don't know they're there in their place, and the agent, you're paying the agent money for you to be there, but the agent isn't paying the owner. So always be on a lease, never a handshake deal. Always check reviews and talk to past tenants. Always talk to residents inside the condo. If you go check the condo during the day and night, don't be bashful, don't be shy to pull people aside and say, hey, how do you like it here? Most people are going to be honest with you. How they like it. Then another question I ask really quick here is, I always ask, if I pull someone aside, I always say, how long have you been staying here? Then if they tell me, oh, I've only been here for a week, I'm leaving like next week, then that tells me that condo is treated like a hotel. Okay, I want to know how long they've been here as well. So I'm trying to figure out how that place is going to be managed. But anyway, guys, I do apologize. This video is way longer than I thought. I try to talk as fast as I can to get through this information, but it lasted a long flipping time. But if you have any questions, check out the description. That's how to get in contact with me. Plus, I have videos in the description as well to check out. Further, you can comment below, and I always answer my comments. Other than that, peace out, blessings to you, and maybe I'll see you in Thailand. You never know. See ya.